So it's the end of 2014, and yes, that's right, your Christmas wish has indeed come true. The self-contained thinker is back, once again. Now I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've been in here with this uniform and face mask. So long in fact that I actually had to put up the green screen because it was just resting in my closet for 3 months. And no, it wasn't because of any computer difficulties or anything like that. I mean, seriously, I'm well off. I just haven't had the time because of school and work. So what are we talking about today? Nintendo. Nintendo. We all love you, I promise. But you just seem hell-bent to run yourself into the ground. Let's just take a look at how much Nintendo made in the 2014 year. Are you kidding me? Nintendo! That's $456 million! That's ridiculous! Don't you guys know that the whole point of being a successful company is to make money? And you know what? It's all your fault. Yeah, that's right. I said it. When your company continues to lose more and more money every year, it's not bad luck, and it's not the consumers. It's you and your bad product. To understand why Nintendo is going down this path, we have to look back some years at Nintendo's entry into the gaming market. The Nintendo Wii. Now, would you believe me if I said this thing was released 8 years ago? Yeah, it's been that long. It was a revolutionary toy at the time. I mean, motion controls that allowed you to get a workout while playing games? Who couldn't resist that? But what happened with the Wii? At first it sold, yeah, and it even had some great first-party titles, but soon developers learned that it was extremely underpowered and the controls were gimmicky. It made more sense for them to develop a port that could be used across 3 platforms as opposed to the 1. Sure, if the proper time and effort were put into a game, it could be something grand on the Wii, but third-party support dwindled aside from the occasional shovelware. Nintendo themselves tried to keep the Wii alive, but it just wasn't enough. Eventually, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 overtook the Wii in sales. Now, look at the Wii U. First off, it's crippled because it doesn't have the same revolutionary movement appeal the Wii had, but also, it's another underpowered white box with a gimmicky control pad. What the hell? Nintendo, guys, I know you were once king of the gaming world, but it's 2015 now. The 8-bit era is over, and things like third-party support is what is going to keep your platform alive. If Nintendo creates another dead console, then I'm afraid we'll see them turn into a software developer in a similar fashion as Sega. Just think about it. Sony produces electronics across a wide range of utilities, from TVs, to Blu-ray players, to MP3 players, and they also own Columbia and a few other production companies. Microsoft has its Windows brands and all the phones and tablets that come along from that. Nintendo has the Wii U and the 3DS. Now, looking at it like that, it's no wonder they pulled that copyright hissy fit back in 2014. This is literally their only way of living. They aren't a software giant and they aren't a hardware mass producer. They're a video game company. If Sony or Microsoft blunders, they can make up for it, but Nintendo has nowhere near as large of a margin for error. So what does Nintendo need to do to win or at least survive the console war? Make it completely separated from the Wii and Wii U name. It shouldn't be a surprise for anyone with half a brain, but the casual crowd that Nintendo targeted for the Wii U couldn't figure out that the Wii U was a brand new next-gen console. Was it an add-on? An expansion? Were they cross-compatible? Would they work together? Nintendo created this problem themselves by not only naming the two very similarly, but also designing them to look almost identical. Nintendo, different is not bad. I get the whole naming thing at least, but there's no way you could confuse a Super Nintendo for a Nintendo 64, or a Nintendo 64 for a GameCube, or a GameCube for a Wii. Change the name and the design. You are home to some of the best science fiction franchises out there, and you're telling me that the extent of your designing capabilities is a white, rectangular box? Make it a truly next-gen console. Yes, I know this is going to be hard for you, Nintendo, seeing as how you've always comfortably resided at dead last when it comes to pure horsepower, but third-party developers love freedom, and they love breathing room. Having kneecapped hardware, even just subpar hardware, restricts developers and drives away your consumers. Did you not realize that most of your past success came because of the fact that you could drive bits better? Gain that advantage and it'll be irresistible to the buying public. Could you imagine having the best version of Call of Duty, the best version of Destiny, the best version of Borderlands 3 on a Nintendo console? People would never be able to put that down. You wouldn't be able to find one in stock in stores for years. I guarantee that. Go back to the GameCube controller. You know why people didn't like the Wii after a while? The controls. As much good as they did for selling the console, they didn't hold up over time and most games didn't implement them properly. And the same deal seems to be happening with the Wii U. Just stick with the standard controller. It's what brought you to fame and it's what's going to keep you alive. And you already did the hard part. You've already designed the perfect controller. The GameCube controller. That thing is a thing of beauty. Compare that to the Wii U Pro controller. Or any controller you've designed in the past 4 years. Hard, sharp rectangles piss me off because they make it impossible for me to play your games for long periods of time. And if I know I physically can't play your games for long, guess what? I'm not gonna buy your games. So there you go, Nintendo. There are some other factors you could fix, like expanding your demographic, but I strongly believe that if you fix these main issues, you would have the best-selling console of the decade. I don't want Nintendo to die, not only because they are essentially the last thing stopping us from being dominated by undercut PCs, but because it has some of my favorite gaming franchises of all time on it. But in this dog-eat-dog world, business is business, and if you keep going down the road you're paving, it won't be long until you walk into your own grave.